quick too, because it was the first modern comic that anyone had asked him to do, and he wanted to see if it would hold up.
You should do some Alex Ross stuff.
So you record this video just on this one camera?
Yeah, just leave it on camera.
Yeah, this is gonna be like 10 minutes. So.
Did you mention Westworld? Because I know do we get to talk?
I don't watch it. So.
Okay.
I do.
That's the.
Can't get into
Did
it.
you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Dude,
So good.
Did you not see the picture? Oh, you haven't seen it. You don't even know. You don't even know.
I don't.
Oh, you don't even know.
I do not.
You're all Game of Thrones fans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they released a poster for season 7, and it reveals like one of the long rumored mythical characters that I don't even care about this show, but I was like, if I hear about this, I will die. I'm about to change your world right now.
You're about to change. If I could change. Okay.
All right, so we want to take the time to thank Jason for being with us. That was an amazing interview. So make sure you guys get on and check out his products. And just going to take things. It was a fairly slow news week, so we're just going to do our typical DC week in review here. And the week started off, as it always does, with the Girl of Steel in this week's Supergirl episode. Bit of a filler episode, not too much. We got a little bit of Mon-El's storyline, basically him being from Daxam and Krypton being like the kind of Crips and Bloods of the intergalactic universe. So they're building a little bit on that storyline, a little bit on the Miss Martian storyline that's being teased with John Jones's part of it. But more than anything, it was cool to see Linda Carter take her turn as the President of the United States. One of the things I really love, what do you guys think about the CW verse bringing in these classic people that are playing? Because it's Dean Cain now, Mark Hamill, John Wesley Shipp, and Linda Carter, and the girl that played Iris West in the 90s show plays the doctor at Mercury Labs.
Yeah. I think it's nice that they understand that there was a market for this. Where it's just good because people remember those series. I remember The Flash. I remember watching Wonder Woman. I think those are great things to do for the series, and even Lois and Clark. But I like it.
And changing up the game plan here, I have to break some news to Robert and Anthony that they have not heard apparently. So. About 3 weeks ago, like some quote-unquote set leaks from Game of Thrones had gotten out about something that happens with a big battle of a character, and there was a plot point in there that I didn't report on here and I didn't talk about because I'm like, it's too cool to happen, and if it does, it would blow my mind. And then today a poster was released that not only confirms that, but just lightens my heart. So at some point in Game of Thrones Season 7, there's a battle on a Great Lake, and Viserion, Daenerys' dragon, is killed and reanimated by the Night King as one of the ice dragons that they've talked about in A Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah.
Which dragon is that?
That's Viserion, the giant one, like the huge. Yeah.
One?
So he gets killed in the battle and immediately brought back as the White Dragon. And the ice dragons in the Game of Thrones myth are like, it's a real thing, and their fire is like crazy powerful and stuff like that. But just like the visuals of that is going to be such an amazing scene to watch. Because I had thought about it too, and it makes so much sense because my thing behind it, why I thought it would happen more than anything, I'm like, it makes so much sense with the dragons being the things that can kill the White Walkers most. Like, how do you stop that? Give them one of their own. Like, so that just the idea of that is so cool to me. Like, so what are your thoughts on that? I mean,
that's tragic. I think.
That is,
I like the dragons.
It's tragic, but I'm glad. I want to see what they do. They have to mix it up. They have to keep the series interesting, especially since Winds of Winter is not out yet. George, what's up, bro?
Are you not seeing what this means to people? Dragon fight. Dragon fight. Like,
it's like, George, finish the book. Finish the book.
Yeah, good luck.
But that just the visuals of that to me are going to be so cool. And one of the other things, like, if they don't immediately, like, the moment Jon Snow meets Daenerys and realizes she has dragons, if he's like, yeah, can you not make them make, like, just mountains of dragon glass, please? Because that's the only thing that can kill a White Walker. And that's the whole scene, apparently, where the dragon dies, is it's Jon Snow trying to capture a White Walker to prove to her that they exist. And then this battle goes down, Benjen saves him, they all fly out on the dragons, and Viserion's killed, and then immediately turned into the White Walker dragon. But that poster coming out from HBO absolutely confirms it.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
It's not spoilers, all right? Like, it's not spoilers at this point. You know what's going on. It's like people like being sad that Glenn died at The Walking Dead.
No! Spoilers!
Bullcrap spoilers. It happened 5 years ago in the comics.
If you haven't watched...
How is Abraham not the shocking death there? Like, I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead here, so I'm honestly asking this question. The show obviously has to hit certain points from the comics as it's done. Negan's debut is simultaneous with Glenn's death. How did anybody think it would be anybody but him? How is Abraham?
I'm glad it was him, and I wasn't...
And it was literally panel for panel. That's why I love, like, the eye popping out, everything.
Yeah, it was panel for panel. I wasn't so much shocked about Abraham's death, because at this point in the comics, he's already gone.
Suck my nuts. That's a badass way to go out.
That's a pretty badass way to go out.
Did you see the alternate take with Maggie getting it? Yeah, there's an alternate take where Maggie gets Lucille.
Yeah, they filmed one for every cast member,
Yeah.
so that way the leaks wouldn't really matter. But I'm really just glad that they smacked Glenn.
I thought it was hilarious.
You can't keep
Maggie,
You can't have Glenn.
Find you. The greatest meme I saw was that, like the Mag, and then it was Billy Madison, like today, Junior. So I absolutely thought that
It was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, it was better than I thought it would be because I'm so wishy-washy with the Walking Dead show. I've read every issue of the
I
comic.
just love the reactions of like people screaming and losing their minds. Like it's a TV show, guys.
Well, that's the idea with it. People don't realize, like, if you don't read the graphic novel and you have people who are like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. If, like, again, Game of Thrones is a book. You want to catch up, read the book.
You know what? Like I have to retract that immediately before I get slammed with internet comments. Like I can't even hate on people for being that diehard about The Walking Dead because that's how I am with The Flash. Like last season when he ran, I'm like, no. I recorded my reaction to it, and you literally hear me when he's doing the Flash film running back. I'm like, no, don't do it, Barry. Don't do it. But that takes us to The Flash, which was a great episode this week, the debut of Mirror Master, and we were
That was awesome.
oh god, man, just even his origin, like the whole little way they did him disappearing in the mirror and being stuck there for 3 years, which is really oh yeah. So
I haven't got a chance to see it.
Basically,
I'm
when the
gonna watch
particle
it.
accelerator exploded, he's getting into a fight with Snart, him and his girl. Particle wave hits him
Earmuffs,
and his
Robert.
girl. He disappears into a mirror. She gets the power to give people like super intense vertigo.
The top.
But yeah, he gets pulled out of the mirror 3 years later, which leads us to our first mission with Jesse Quick suited up. Barry decides to train.
Her suit looks awesome.
It looks so awesome.
She has a
I
cool
kind of
suit.
hated on it when I first saw it in the
No, it
teaser,
looks
but it looks
great. I
so
love
cool.
the
It
black
fits her
lightning
so
bolt.
well. And so he starts training Jesse Quick, as we see there, and then gets thrown into a mirror almost immediately by Mirror Master. So most of the episode is about getting him out. The moment, though, that they said, like, oh, we need to make the mirror cold to get him out, I'm like, Killer Frost.
Killer Frost.
Doesn't happen. And as we saw at the after credits stinger, Caitlyn's in the shower and her powers activate and freezes everything.
Oh, and I don't
She
want
gets out
to
of the
spoil
shower.
this for you, Robert, but I'll just mention it. What about combing the multiverse for different
Oh
Harrison
my God!
Wells?
And dude, okay. First of
That
all, my
was
name
pretty
is
awesome.
Tex-Mex Wales, and I just had a bad dinner. And then literally, so you get to see him play like 5 more different versions of Wells. There's a
pretty
mime
great.
version, and
Yeah.
that's my favorite line. You can never trust a mime.
Bonjour.
Yeah, and then we obviously get a new Wells, who apparently seems to be evil again from next week's trip. I don't think he's evil though. If he is, I think I know why. I think he's going to be the one that brings the Dominators in for the crossover episode. But we get our new Wells. We get Wally West obviously getting more hints that he's going to be getting the Flashpoint dreams of being Kid Flash. And then Mirror Master was really cool. But the one thing I really liked about this episode more than anything is Barry defeated Mirror Master with his own intelligence.
Yeah, he didn't need a
Not
team.
Wells, not Cisco, anything like that. Not some crazy invention. Legit, just physics, science. I know this shit. Like I'm gonna say, he puts him in an infinite loop of mirrors. So this way he can't jump through them because of the infinite. You know, like when you're a mirror to mirror, how it's an infinite reflection.
Yeah.
The way that they explain Mirror Master's power in the show is he uses the mirror to create a wormhole from point A to point B. So like in that loop, he can't go anywhere because it traps him there and stuff like that. So but it was just Barry using his own smarts and stuff like that, and you get to see Jesse like making the mistakes as a young speedster and stuff like that, and like getting overconfident and things like that. But they do show the budding romance between Jesse and Wally, which I really like. I think that may lead to Wally going to Earth too if they stay here. If they don't kill one of them, I think that those two are going to be a couple on Earth too. But obviously set up for Mirror Master's return at some point. Some great things going on with that, and led into a little bit with some of the quote unquote Bart Allen non-existent Easter eggs that they're dropping in there. I don't believe that they're real at all. But Legends of Tomorrow did have one of them. Legends of Tomorrow, man, they're really going toe-to-toe with Flash this season as far as, like, interesting story, special effects, everything. Like, they completely upped their game. We got Vixen joining the team this week, which was really cool. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on her? Because, I mean, they had her in the animated show, but this is a different version. She's starting to grow on me.
Couldn't care less.
Really?
I like the actress who did it for Arrow.
My
last
whole thing
season.
with like Legends, it's like Legends is really cool and it's a great show, but when you break it down now that like Captain Cold's gone, Firestorm is the only real one with powers. You don't have Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
And not
anymore.
only does he have powers, he's like one of the most powerful things in
and they
the
use him
world.
so tame,
And they
like,
never use him.
But like now, so you have Citizen Steel coming in, and you have Vixen. It's like you add 2 like power people to the cast. So to me, that's a big one. I really like that. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Citizen Steel? He makes his debut. We get to see it. So Ray had actually engineered the formula that gave him his powers for those exact powers, which I thought it was cool. So I'm like, that should come back. He's like, oh yeah, I made it to give me metal skin that's 100 times stronger than steel.
I'm wanted. I mean, like you said, they're power. We need more powered people on that show, and
It's cool. You get to see the typical like how are they developing their powers and stuff like that. I mean, where do you hope Legends goes this season?
I just really want to see some good Captain Cold.
Really?
Yeah, I love Captain Cold. He's
He's
one of my
so-
favorite characters ever.
Wentworth Miller is just a great actor.
It's the
So
way
good.
he
He's like-
delivers.
And he brings the ham, and it's so
He-
delicious.
You know, he's
It's
just.
just, I literally like I almost hate when he's on screen though because Eva hates it because I just walk around the house like Eva, what are we gonna have for dinner? Like his speech
I really
patterns
like-
are so.
Heat Wave speech pattern. He's always just like, hello.
Dude, I love Heatwave. This was
He
his
is
shining
hilarious.
moment episode for just comedic relief because he truly believes in his soul that ninjas are real and they wind up in feudal Japan and all he wants is to see a ninja. He's like, and that's the thing, they don't want to be. It's basically like Archer with Predator. Like if that's exactly. He's like, if they don't want to be seen, we can't see them. They're in the trees, and then like they have a moment where a ninja drops down out of a tree to take, and he can't even like he doesn't even try to fight him. He goes, I don't want to hurt you. I love you guys. Like, and it's just like the most honest fanboy moment. But like they're all talking about what they got to do to like stop this Shogun Lord, and like he's got the Atom suit, the world could end, and everything else like that. And Mick's just like, I just want to see a ninja. Like that's all. It was so like innocent fun that I loved it. But I think the biggest revolution that came out of it, obviously you guys saw him not watch it, is the Atom suit was destroyed. Ray had to sacrifice it in order to stop the Shogun Lord
Yeah,
from
you
having
build
it and
another
stuff like
one.
that. I don't know, man. How are they going to do that? Because it's dwarf store alloy. It's not
He's just
something
gonna
like you
run
can just go
around
to
not
U-Haul.
having any powers at all.
So
I'm saying like that's not a typical Craigslist ad like in search of.
I'm pretty sure you can find it. I mean, like that's just.
Yeah, you have a time ship. I'm assuming
It's
there's
like,
a time
hey,
period where dwarf store
I'm just
alloy.
gonna go back to my lab before it exploded and just go grab some.
And we have to get into this here, which is the biggest thing in the episode, is that Firestorm, Stein, and Jefferson Jacks discovered a secret compartment on the Wave Rider that was an armory and contained messages that Rip Hunter had stored from different people. One of those messages, a new message, was from the year 2056 from Barry Allen. And all
Old
we
Barry?
got,
Or,
yes,
like,
and
time
I
traveling
love
Barry?
it. It's Grant Gustin like as an older man, and the message is just literally, Rip Hunter, I'm sorry to have to contact you like this, but I can't let any more people get hurt, which is why I know you'll keep what I'm about to tell you secret, even from your team. And then it cuts out. But the reason why everyone's saying Bart Allen is coming is because apparently the year 2056 is where Bart Allen is from in the comics. That's all I know about him. That's the only link there is. So I don't know why there's wild speculation. Like it could just be.
I would love to see Bart.
I don't know who he is.
He's great.
Who is he? Like what side?
Well, he was Impulse.
Yeah.
And then
No,
he
but I'm
became
saying,
Kid
with,
Flash.
Like with Wally and Daniel and Bart, like they've done
He's
so much
well,
retcon
Bart
with them that
is
they
a-
blur together.
Bart is a descendant of the Thawns and the Allens.
Wait, the Thawns and the Allens. I know you got Cobalt Blue, but I thought he was just
He's just like a.
a twin.
The Allens and the Thawns are like cosmically intertwined.
It's like the Ross and Rachel of the
Pretty
DC
much.
universe.
But he's Barry's grandson, and he's Barry and Iris's grandson. He was like grown in like this VR, so he doesn't have any concept of reality. They send him back in time to be trained by Wally.
My whole thing
And
is
Wally's
like,
the Flash.
I think the bigger reveal from that is that we can all breathe a sigh of relief that Barry's not going to die in 2026 because of the newspaper. Like Flash disappears in Crisis. You know what I'm talking about? That's been
Yeah.
like the whole that Gideon has on the Flash. That's what worried me. I'm like, now you have a time point where like he's going to die and run out. If obviously he's alive 30 years after that.
Yeah, but what else?
And it's a clearly older Barry. Like
It
you
is
hear
a
in the
clearly
list.
older Barry, but what I guess the whole point is where are we going to end up? Where is that?
I'm just excited to see what's going on. I like the way that the shows are bleeding into each other and stuff like that, which just leads even more into our rumor mill report that Savitar is going to be created on Legends. So, I mean, it's really blended. You guys are slacking not doing this. But, Anthony, I mean, you watched Arrow this week, so what happened? The only thing I know about Arrow is news broke this week that Diggle is going to confront Barry about what happened in the Flashpoint timeline, because I guess in the new timeline he has a son.
He has a
and
son,
in the old
not a
timeline he had a
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even.
Would you
No.
not think that that was an upgrade?
Well,
no offense
nobody
to like
even-
feminism, I'm just saying it's a lot easier to raise a boy.
Nobody even knows what happened to the Flashpoint timeline except for Felicity, unless she tells Diggle, which I don't see why she would.
What are you guys? So anything eventful on Arrow?
The wild dog kid got captured by
Okay.
the villain whose name I can never remember. Church?
Prometheus?
Prometheus?
No, Prometheus, or is it Church?
Who knows?
Is it the guy with the mask or the guy
Strong
without
black
them?
guy.
Okay,
I gotta
Church.
ask, and I can't think that it's a coincidence because it's actually announced today, and I'm glad that I didn't drop this little item here. So obviously with Flash, the after the credits stinger is Daniel Panabaker's powers activating in the shower. She gets out of the shower, her lips are blue, like
she's so
Philip,
hot.
and she's got the
My
white
God.
streak in her hair. So she immediately cuts that out. Just so happens to be announced today that one of the newest members of the Justice League is Frost. She's no longer Killer Frost. So what do you guys think? Do you think that they're going to go dark Killer
Well, they
Frost, or
get
do you think
the-
they turn into a hero?
They're doing the Justice League of America's new lineup, which is like the Atom, Vixen.
Yeah, and she's part of that
Batman.
lineup.
Yeah, it's Killer
And
Frost.
so is Lobo.
And she's a hero.
Yeah. So I'm like, do you think that happens to be a little bit of a coincidence?
It's all part of DC's big synergy project
That's
that
my
they were
whole thing with
touting
Jeff
like 2
Johns
years
being
ago.
made that like the comics, because that was the whole point of Rebirth, was to line the comics up with the movies
Pretty
and the
much,
TV
yeah.
universe and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's a little
Which
bit.
means we better get some-
literally the day after they air her like officially turning into Killer Frost, it's announced that Killer Frost is.
I have to
hero.
say because I've been catching up on like when I haven't been watching stuff, I have been catching up on comics, and the DC Rebirth is really good.
So
And
good.
It is really
Almost everything
really
I've
good.
read from it's been amazing.
It is
I
really.
love my issues.
What are you reading?
Right now, I'm reading the Flash Rebirth and just catching up on that with Godspeed because that's been the most interesting storyline that they've had, and seeing that interaction.
To
Kind
me,
of
it's
goes
just
hand
like
in hands with Titans too.
that's too much coincidence to me. That's like Martha Stewart insider trading. Like, I heard this company's about to go public, and then the next day, like, they're going public. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I am devastated because having met Danielle Panabaker, like, my crush only intensified. So I'm like, don't write her off this show or kill her.
I don't think they're going to write her off.
Kill
No,
her
I
Frost?
think she's going to be a part of this. She's going to be a part of the series. How she uses her powers is going to probably be. She's going to probably have that Cisco arc like we saw last season, and how she.
I don't know. It
develops.
just scares me about Kevin Smith's episode because he says
Speaking
that
of, there's
so
not
many.
nearly enough vibe going on this season.
Yeah, I know.
I really want him like
Although he
buddy
vibed through
out
19 dimensions in
there.
this
Whatever.
episode, dude.
I want to see him in costume fighting bad
that's the
guys.
thing, Robert. Our new Wells is Earth 19 Wells.
Yeah.
But so they're doing great things with that, but it just scares me for Kevin Smith's episode called Killer Frost because they said that there's so many firsts in this episode. So I'm just really hoping it's not her going dark side. But relatively quiet news week. Anything you guys want to add for last words?
Watch Westworld.
Watch Westworld.
I could care less about Watch Lucifer. Lucifer is so good.
Oh, and 1 week until Doctor Strange.
Oh,
We are all
snap.
going to see that in IMAX 3D and can't wait. And I just want to add my little tidbit here before we go. Get out and see The Accountant. It's a great movie with Ben Affleck, but more importantly, as someone with Asperger's, it is amazing to see somebody with it portrayed as like a badass. And it's basically like autistic Batman. That's what that movie is, and it's so cool because it showcases like the cool things that you get, like the eidetic memory, things like that, but then like the terrible things, like the panic attacks, the need for completion, things like that. But more than anything, it's just a really great movie. So get out and check that out. And especially if you know anybody on the autism spectrum, it's a great way to see them portrayed in a positive light instead of someone with a disability. So that is something I wanted to get out there, and I think that's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of the Get Your Geek On podcast. I've been Chuck KIWACZ.
Robert Dokes.
Watch Westworld.
Have a week.
Seriously.
No, I'm like the fact of the matter is when you look at it,
enough to add into the show, though?
it is an amazing show. It is,
I will not be.
but is it good enough to talk about?
yeah, it is good enough to talk about. It is good enough because basically, if you look at the actors and look at the cast and look at you have really good film actors with mostly character actors on television, and it just works. And the story is intriguing.
Two more questions, and it will hook me into. Is Anthony Hopkins good? Because I'll watch him in anything.
And it's unclear.
Okay.
It's
No,
almost.
I don't mean good or evil. I mean,
Yeah.
is his character like is he good performing?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. It's an amazing
If
performance.
he gives good performances, like
It's like it's
And is there
scary.
books that this is based on?
It's Michael
Based on a
Crichton.
movie.
It's based on an original movie
Okay, so
called.
there's not a bunch of shit that people. Have
No,
seen.
it was written by Michael Crichton, and it's
Based on a
Stanley.
trilogy of movies.
It's well, there was
Well,
the
two. And then a TV
Alright.
show.
Why don't we add that into next week's episode? Like, I'll watch the first episode.
because
Have you
it's,
seen the movie?
no, I haven't seen the one.
The movie's awesome.
It's the one Kubrick did. Kubrick did it, and I'm like, I haven't seen
It's
that.
really good. So is Future World, the sequel. It's really good.
But you go in there, and the issue when you look at it, watch the program. Just look at the cast, and it's probably the best movie, the best thing I've seen. James Marsden.
boobs?
Yeah, there's lots of boobs.
Yeah, that's good movie.
James Marsden. This is the best role I've ever seen him in.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
best role I have
Absolutely.
ever seen him in.
Stop saying that. That's the dude that was in Hop.
No. But
Fucking Ed Harris is so awesome in that show.
because it's like you realize it's like your foundation is like I'm on
Yeah,
fucking
right?
vacation.
That
It's like
reveal?
it's like I'm on fucking vacation,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh.
When you find out that he's like a philanthropist, good guy
Yeah,
in real life.
it's just like this, and he's doing his badass shit in on the side.
I've been thinking a lot about it because I've read an
And then-
interview with the guy where he's talking about how they're mostly inspired by like video games like Skyrim and Fallout.
Yeah.
For the mechanics of the game in
Yeah.
the show. So like the reason why Ed Harris is so badass is because he's got like end game armor.
Yeah,
And like his suit adds like +5 to dodge and like
it's like
for
yeah.
stealth. So it's like he's like bulked.
And
up,
then
he's maxed
and then the
out.
other thing was the other thing that I enjoyed about that was Tandy Newton's character. So she goes in there, it's like I've got to write this down. I've got to see what I keep seeing this image,
Oh,
and then she
yeah.
goes in and she goes in their
There's a whole
floorboard,
pile of them?
and there's a whole pile of
So
these
awesome.
things, and
I
you're
love
like,
the
Which one of you
Hopkins.
has the Star Trek book, by the way?
I have the Star Trek book.
Did you get to read it?
I am still going through it.
The fucking when she goes to talk, she goes to like confront Hopkins.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, you were here when you were a child. And then the bulldozer.
It's like you just sit here. It's like yes.
Yeah.
It's like this is the exact same chair that I was as a child.
I know. Yeah. Watch me destroy it.
It's like
pretty fucking awesome.
it's just
And it looks cool.
and it's like I know everything. And she's like, and it's like, please be kind to Bernard.
Yeah.
It's like,
Be careful with Bernard.
it's like, just be. It's like I don't want to see him broken. And you're like,
I've heard some really cool theories with the show too. Like, I like that Bernard is actually.
If you guys are really that into it, one of the guys I know that works up in Vancouver and stuff like that, they do parts of the sets on that.
ooh,
That'd be fucking awesome.
Like, he's a really cool dude. But if you guys want like call sheets or any like stuff like that, he always sends them to me.
I've heard Bernard is a synth or like a.
I feel like that's the
I
case.
really like the theory. I mean, I don't buy into it, but I like the theory that Williams' story. He's the McCoyle from.
Oh my god, one of the
Yeah.
Coils is in it?
He's like the main character. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He is the Man in Black in the past. It's like his first trip to Westworld. Because if you notice, Bernard's